A burning ship crashes through the mountain. The commander screams carefully, "Watch out for catching fire and go quickly, everyone." The soldier was dragging something wrapped in an extremely large white cloth. "Actually, this thing is so heavy, 1212. Two soldiers were straining to pull it. A force caused rocks to fly. The two soldiers closed their eyes and endured. A fat man stood on a rock, weapon in hand, yelling, "You idiots, I told you to be careful, don't break that thing." The beaten soldiers only dared to respond, "Yes, sir." The fat man wore glasses on one eye, but instead of saying something intelligent, he cursed, "You idiots," he thought to himself, "do they know how much this thing is worth? If there's a single scratch on it, I'll behead you all." The soldiers struggled to lift the object onto a cart, chanting, 1, 2, 1, 2. A shrill scream cut through the air. The fat man looked at the approaching dragon and trembled like a leaf. "We were seen, dragon." Red with ferocious eyes surrounded by brilliant flames. He yelled, "It's coming." The dragon seemed crazy and rushed towards him, causing him to panic that it was coming. The fat man pointed his finger and gave an order that the animal was chasing this thing at all costs to stop it. The archer and mage were ready to shoot. Those who heard the order replied, "Yes, sir." Bows were strung, mages chanted incantations, ready to confront the dragon. As the dragon drew near, the fat man ordered, "Fire." Arrows flew straight towards the dragon. Green magic, formed from glyphs, was also launched. A surge of golden energy also shot forth. 3 streams of power combined into one and rushed towards the dragon. Just opened his mouth to prepare to respond to this sincere sentiment. Human strength was no match for the dragon's. With one blow, it sent everything below flying. The fat guy could only cry. He was lying flat on the ground like a child. When the fat man looked at the dragon flying by, he could only angrily say, "Damn it." He turned back and asked his subordinates if that thing was safe or not. Replied, "Yes, no problem." Even though he was complaining about my feet, he only cared about that, thank God. The fat man looked up at the sky again and the dragon had now turned around. He shouted worriedly that it was coming, but he could see it. "That thing hasn't finished yet, make sure to shoot them, this time, everyone's aiming." The archers and mages were ready, "Yes, sir." The dragon still opened its big mouth, preparing to roast this place. The fat man summoned all his strength and shouted that this is the final blow, Dad. Before he could finish speaking, someone appeared and told him to get away. Before he could react, the fat man's head was used as a stepping stone. He stopped and couldn't believe his eyes. With blonde hair and sharp eyes, that person appeared and shouted the name Camellia. The sword in that person's hand created a yellow sword that cut into the dragon, causing its blood to spurt out. The fat man's eyes turned into a heart shape and he screamed like he had met his idol Mr. Various. The dragon fell to the ground after taking the empty sword move. The sword fell to the ground. Various with a cross on his face cursed, "You want to die, you will die if you don't avoid that attack, you idiot." Completely different from your appearance. The cruel fat guy just now seems extremely flattering. "Mr. Various, we will deal with it, no problem. Even if that dragon is still a minor, you still managed to cut it in half. You're amazing." But Various threw the sword to the fat guy and was unhappy. "It's still a dragon, so why bother adding a sentence that still doesn't work? Forget it, quickly wipe my sword." He obediently yes. Various pointed his finger further, "Clean up this place and send more support." Even though he was a bit confused, but the fat guy still agreed yes. Various's eyes were extremely scary, threatening the fat guy. If that thing was exposed, no matter what the reason was, his head would no longer be on his neck. He trembled and replied yes. The fat guy is still so scared that he's sweating, but I'm sure you can rest assured. Suddenly Various heard a voice behind him, "Is this what you said?" causing him to stop. I don't know when Dee and Alex stood on that thing in the surprise of the soldiers. The fat man holding Various's sword quickly shouted, "Who are you, without mercy?" The rope broke and it was wrapped in white cloth, covering it with a red dragon. With golden eyes appearing and screaming, "Deus, it's a bit confusing. You said it was an item, but it turned out to be another dragon." Suddenly he noticed something looking into his eyes. The Deus dragon's clear red and yellow eyes looked normal, so are there still normal dragons that are not infected with parasites? He reasoned, aha, so that's why that little dragon chased after his mother to save her. Alex also thought the same thing. I believe it was the same. So Deus, you smell something unusual and questioned the nobles. Aren't you guys in a truce with the dragon? Are you part of the hero family? Why do I smell a conspiracy here? Seeing that the story was exposed, Varias decided to look like he had to clean up a few more bodies. Alex didn't understand and stabbed Deus in the ear. Yes, Lord, why are you provoking him? Deus' face looks like you caught something interesting. Aren't you curious about the skills of a direct relative? Varias didn't care. He ordered their disposal. The fat man confidently replied, yes. He turned to look at Deus, his demeanor completely different from his earlier flattery. I don't know who you are, but you've seen what you shouldn't have. You're doomed. The fat man's subordinates, armed with swords and shields, prepared themselves. Yes, they said, looking at Varias. Wiping his behind, he walked away. Deus was puzzled. He just left like that. This makes me so mad. I had such high hopes for a direct descendant of a hero like him. It's so disappointing. Alex, kill them all. Alex didn't rush into action immediately, but, my Lord Deus. Because Alex wondered, are we supposed to be playing the roles of the hero's allies? Deus didn't understand. What does that have to do with anything? Alex explained, isn't it bad to fight a direct descendant when we're supposed to be the hero's allies? Deus finally understood. Now that you mention it, come to think of it, was he a holly like Zeke? Yes, Alex answered. The Liang hero family are holly, a type of tree. It signifies they've been blessed. But to Deus, it seems odd. Was the first hero a tree or something? Why are they so fond of using tree names? Alex provided more information that they used the name of the most planted tree in the Deus territory. It made me laugh as if it was a good harvest. It wasn't the day the tree was planted or anything. I really saw that the other two didn't pay attention to me. I'm fat. Scream at those bastards who are looking down on us. What are you doing? Hurry up and kill them. Hearing the order, the mages and soldiers resumed their attack. They unleashed their power, aiming directly at where they stood. But surprisingly Alex and since when is Deus standing behind them? Deus remind Alex, they are attacking us, so don't deal with them quickly, they might wake up Zeke. That fat guy was extremely surprised. When did we get there? Alex wondered. Deus killing them isn't difficult, but it's really okay. Deus isn't happy. Why do you keep asking like that? Alex repeated, didn't I say it already? Aren't you supposed to be an ally of the hero? Deus got angry, so you want to beg for forgiveness and have them let us go. Look, Alex pointed to the object that had been wrapped in cloth and destroyed by them. It's probably too late to beg for forgiveness. We've seen this huge secret. Deus slapped his hands in frustration. What do you want me to do, you troublesome thing? Alex questioned. Can't we run away? Deus yelled. Are you afraid of them? Alex pretended to be scared. No one knows I'm Alex, Deus sarcastically replied. Right. Alex's rabbit-like expression made the fat man fume. You damn bastards. How long do you intend to keep destroying things? He waved his hand, ordering, kill them immediately. His subordinates obeyed. Yes, Alex. Looking at the people preparing to attack him, Alex thought, I don't want to get involved with the hero's family, but I guess I can't avoid it. His mouth tightened, looking adorable before he opened his mouth and unleashed his power. Onto the subordinates on the other side. On Ezekiel with its mouth open. Sleep ignorant Deus and calm Alex. They saw a group of soldiers charging towards them. Each one wore iron armor and carried a sharp sword. They shouted with great momentum. A mage, gathering momentum, leaped towards them. He raised his hand and shouted, Fire power. Alex gave the mage a cold glance, remaining perfectly calm. Alex opened his mouth, and a powerful blast shot out, directly at the mage. He looked like a dragon breathing fire. The mage, hit without a doubt, opened his mouth to face the immense power and turned to dust. A soldier from the other side rushed towards him with a helping hand, shouting with great momentum and rushing towards the spot. Deus Alex just coldly glanced at him with his red eyes. He said nothing. Fast as lightning, it passed through that guy's body, causing the iron axe to break into many pieces among the soldiers. The soldiers behind saw this and felt a bit soft-hearted. They didn't expect Alex to act so quickly and cruelly. Without waiting for them to think anything, Alex rushed straight through the group of clawed people. The demon waved extremely decisively and went wherever he went, killing coldly and mercilessly the soldiers. Before I could act, I had to return to my grandparents with all my limbs severed and blood pouring out like a rain of weapons. Just in time to use a soldier standing far away while Alex was closing in, he silently raised his bow and arrow to aim at him. The soldier jumped up and called out a fierce attack, followed by a fire arrow tearing through the wind and rushing towards Alex. Unfazed, he coldly watched the soldier, raising a hand in preparation to snap his fingers, his eyes coldly focused. Immediately, the soldier was hit and fell from the sky, screaming as he plummeted, blood splattering across the heavens. Another mage near Alex was struck by a lightning bolt aimed directly at him. Alex calmly raised his hands to take a photo and opened a purple circle. Gradually a circle appeared, expanding and turning into a teleportation gate. Alex used it to absorb incoming lightning and another similar gate. When it appeared, it released a bolt of lightning that bounced towards the magician, causing him to be shocked and cry out in pain. From below, the view from Alex's feet was incredibly vivid, like a blockbuster movie, but sadly it was real, and the soldiers had all been blown to pieces. Alex brought his blood-stained hand to his mouth and licked deliciously around the two people. Across the dead body Deus stood behind yawning Alex, stood licking his fingers and smiling happily. His eyes were filled with the cold steel of a hunter, his crimson eyes gleaming. The monstrous Alex exclaimed, "Killing people really is the most fun." A fat man, looking like a nobleman, was left, sweating profusely. His hand trembled as he gripped his sword, asking, "Who are you?" Behind him, a shadowy figure loomed. Used his momentum and prepared to jump on that person without any care, using his head as a springboard to jump up. A stupid nobleman who didn't understand anything was startled and called out. The other man leaped high, swinging his sword towards Alex's back, shouting his technique, Silent Night, Invisible Shadow, Splitting Strike. The blow sent rocks and earth flying. It cleaved a massive boulder in two, the strike displaying incredible power. He landed gracefully, sword in hand. He stood, looking at his handiwork with arrogant pride. Deus's voice behind him sounded like dust flying everywhere, but Varius turned back and used his glowing blue eyes to look at the source of the sound. Alex and Varius stood on a high cliff overlooking him. Varius was incredibly cool and striking. Glancing upwards, he asked, "Who are you? You easily killed my family's soldiers and even dodged my sword. Are you a blood soldier of the Black Slaughter clan?" Deus looked down and immediately dismissed his assumption. "Tisk, wrong. Just because someone's strong doesn't mean they're a blood soldier. Use your brain." He narrowed his blue eyes, becoming more wary. Then, "A dragon." "Whatever, I just need to eliminate the witnesses." He didn't wait for a reply. Varius shifted his feet, raising his sword into a fighting stance. Deus simply smirked, "You'll kill me." It was a deeply sarcastic question. Deus's eyes held intense contempt. He scoffed, "That's utterly impossible, you fool." The moment he saw Deus's smile, Varius's eyes widened. Deep within him, something stirred, a blinding light, something awakening. A terrifying power erupted from deep within Varius's body. He could feel it. He cried out in pain as the blood in his veins surged violently. His eyes blazed, pupils gone. He strained to contain it, screaming. Alex frowned, observing from below. He's awakened, he thought, asterisk that power, star. The earth and rocks swirled into a dust cloud. The fat nobleman fearfully shielded his face from the flying debris. He tried to call out to Varius, but the latter couldn't hear him. He was consumed by power. Varius stopped screaming, gritting his teeth to steady himself. He looked ahead, the surrounding earth still being violently churned. Deus seemed amused. He was surprisingly expectant. His red eyes glowed brightly. "Now, what do you want to show me?" Varius crouched, then leaped forward. He landed before Alex and Deus, inches from Deus's face, looking even more villainous than a demon king. Alex paled. Varius growled like a wild beast. Deus observed him, commenting, "Seems you've changed quite a bit, Varius." Like a mad dog, he swung his sword, each strike flashing like stars. The rocks continued to fly. Deus was nowhere to be seen. Alex was retreating. Deus gracefully landed on a nearby outcrop, chuckling. "Hey, slowpoke, hurry up, the witnesses are about to fall asleep." Alex's voice came from beside him. Deus." Deus looked at Alex curiously. Narrowing his eyes, he smiled. "Shall we go then? That expression clearly shows you're holding back." Deus whined. "We were only having a little fun. Why won't you let me play? Are you afraid of those heroes?" "Exactly," Alex replied, maintaining his smile. "I'm a little afraid of him." Alex's right arm was severed, emitting a blinding, righteous light that even startled Deus. Deus frowned at his arm. "What the? How disgusting." Varius charged again, sword in hand, his face inches from Deus. Deus exclaimed. "What?" He didn't dodge, but stood facing him. Calmly, he said, "You can't fool me, Alex. You could easily kill this bastard, so why hesitate?" Varius's silent night, invisible shadow, splitting strikes sent more rocks flying. Deus's red eyes widened. He was so surprised he had to ask, "What in the hell is that?" From Alex's severed arm poured blinding light. Varius leaped, swinging his sword, his eyes blazing with the newly awakened power in his blood. He landed before Deus, the two almost touching, one golden, one red. Varius clutched the sword and slashed it, shouting a word to break the move without any shadow. The attack immediately caused the surrounding rocks and soil to crumble and fly away. Deus still spoke leisurely. "I told you so." Varius was astonished. His sword was inches from Deus's head, yet it couldn't complete its strike. Deus's eyes gleamed with triumph. "That's impossible." His red eyes narrowed menacingly. "You can't even touch a hair on my head." Deus leisurely put both hands in his pockets, not bothering to lift them out to block the Varius attack, not believing that he used his left hand, not holding the sword, to condense a stream of bright golden power. Varius kept slashing towards Deus while slashing and asking, "Are you a soldier, Deus?" He moved like a phantom, lightly dodging on the ground. Dust and rocks flew everywhere as Varius's continuous attacks pressed Deus. Deus maintained his posture, steadily retreating to dodge, saying as he moved, "Do I look like a blood soldier? It looks like I'm just taking a stroll." Varius's relentless attacks illuminated the surrounding mountain. Dust and rocks flew everywhere. Naturally, dodging a close attack, he sighed boredly. The scene was incredibly comical. One side, Varius, gritting his teeth and wildly attacking without landing a single hit, the other, Deus, effortlessly dodging with such ease that he exclaimed, "How boring. I had high hopes because you carry the blood of a previous hero, but you're nothing more than a slightly faster fly." Deus glanced down at the one dancing before him. "I'm too lazy to kill you. Those who died by the hands of ones like you before me were simply useless." As if Deus didn't speak anymore, he stopped and pinned his foot hard to the ground, causing a piece of rock to break. "Pushing back is too boring, so maybe now Deus wants to stop." His eyes flashed deadly red, signaling the coming attack of the Demon King. Deus slowly said. The name of the doomed group just finished speaking, his red eyes opened wide, preparing to unleash a killing blow on the stick insect in front of him. At the same time, Alex's eyes also flashed red. He was about to act, and at that moment, Deus was about to make a move. Alex raised his hand to block in front of Varius' face, causing his other arm to disappear. To Deus's surprise, blood splattered. A light flashed from behind, piercing Varius. Someone from behind seized the opportunity, launching an invisible strike. Naturally, it pierced Alex, who was shielding Varius. The blow caused Alex to spit out a mouthful of blood. Deus, confused, called out, "Alex," he asked, "what are you doing?" But Alex's gaze remained silent and emotionless. Immediately after, surprisingly, Alex spat out a dark, viscous substance directly at Varius's head, causing him to fall in stunned silence. The substance Alex spat landed on Varius's face, instantly taking effect. Varius's bright white eyes reverted to their original blue, and he collapsed, unconscious, amidst the silence of Alex and Deus. The sword condensed from the power in his hand also disappeared, and he watched the other man faint. Lying still on the ground, he was puzzled and asked you to stop him instead of killing him. "Why?" Alex glanced back at Deus. His gaze remained deep. Deus asked, You kept avoiding him, muttering about being afraid of him, and now you blocked me to save him." Alex remained silent. Deus looked at Alex in frustration and explained the reason to me right now. Alex also turned back and replied, "Please forgive me, sir, my concern is not for this young hero, but the will of the people in this world." Alex's expression was extremely serious. Deus still didn't quite understand. The will isn't causing chaos, destruction, and slaughter in this world your specialty. Alex said, "It can only be done on a small scale." Alex and Deus looked down at the scene below, piles of dead soldiers. A rumor circulated that if the overlords simply stood on this land, the entire world would tremble, endless waves would come like cockroaches, even a baby in a crib would crawl towards him with a knife. Such were the people of this world. Well, Deus had considered this already. Let them come as they may, I'll burn them all at once. I've thought about this for a long time, but I haven't figured anything out yet. He scoffed, looking at the unconscious man on the ground. How can these weaklings defeat me? It's absurd. As soon as he finished, Deus looked curiously at Alex. He was smiling with narrowed eyes, dark blood still around his mouth. Alex smiled, saying nothing. A thought flashed in Deus's head and his face became serious. Something else, something we don't know yet. Alex remained silent, smiling with closed eyes, confirming his guess. Deus stood there. The wind blew his hair. Deus asked, "And we will only find out after 20 years. The answer matches now." Alex smiled. "Yes." Deus narrowed his cold eyes, stating his guess. "You won't tell me, even if I ask. At most, it'll just be some nonsense about the world's will or something, right?" Alex laughed brightly. He didn't deny it. "You're right, sir, so let's go back." Deus's hand turned purplish black, sharp claws emerging. The demon within was trying to break free. His voice became raspy. "What if I—" Alex stood beside him, unsure of what Deus intended. Deus's face turned black, his red eyes blazing. In his hand was a ball of hellfire. In his raspy voice, he said, "Kill this bastard here. What will happen?" Deus's blazing red eyes reflected madness and bloodlust. "The will you fear? You've piqued my interest in defeating it. Could there be a mortal god or something?" Alex exhaled. "I don't know either, but I do know one thing." This caused the demonic flames within Deus to die down. He looked at Deus malevolently. "The dream of becoming a member of the hero team, living a life in the world's top 2%, will become meaningless because you will have to destroy every hero in the world and destroy it to end everything. Forget being a demon king. You'll be an exemplary demon king in history." Deus's head buzzed with a warning. Alex continued, adding more salt to the wound. "Attack humanity before the heroes rise." That might be a good idea." Deus stiffened. "Demon King, it's just a title now." "Right, I'll handle him myself. The Overlord can rest." Alex actually tried to kick the unconscious Varius in the butt. Deus desperately stopped him. Using a flattering, smiling face, he grabbed his shoulder. "Alex, don't you know how to joke? I'm just kidding, but the Demon Kings and the war have nothing to do with me anymore, so I don't need to be punished. Why don't you get your hands dirty?" Alex still wants to criticize Deus and pretend to say, "Well, I'll just leave him like this. I just need to deal with him and everything will be over." At this point, Deus has to obey. "Hurry up and open the gate. Leave the gate." Then a purple magic gate appeared, leaving 1 foot on the gate before entering him. I turned back and asked Alex, "Aren't you going?" He said, "I'll follow as soon as I've cleaned up all my traces here. Please go ahead and rest." Alex used his stubby arms to push Deus through the portal. Deus looked back and asked, "Your arm, is it all right?" Alex chuckled. "Wounds like these will heal instantly when I return to the underworld. Please don't worry, and go ahead, sir." Deus's whole body had slipped through the gate, but he still had to ask with only his legs, "Hurry up, Alex," standing behind Tri-Truck Thuong, Lo Bin. After that, the gate closed and the mountain space became quiet, leaving only Alex and Varius lying unconscious at that moment. This Alex clearly revealed the devil inside him. He jumped next to Varius and leaned close to him, his eyes filled with hatred and murderous intent that he did not bother to hide. Alex was like a leopard looking at his prey. He stuck out his tongue and licked his mouth. His high-pitched, dark voice rang out, "You bastard, you dare to slash me, one of the 7 counts of the demon world, with that light." That filth, from within Alex's red eyes, something is about to come out. With my own hands, 20 years from now, it will take the lives of your descendants and end the family line. Hola Schwarsha. At the same time, in another space, I was holding the shield in my arms, sleeping soundly like death, with tears running out of the corner of his mouth. A purple light flashed, illuminating his face. Right after that, a figure quietly appeared in front of Zeke, but he was still sleeping and didn't know anything. Standing there looking kindly at Try sleeping, he must have been very tired and fainted in this cold weather. Where they were standing was a lush green hill. The Zeke was lying drunk on the carriage. The scene was extremely peaceful. Deus narrowed his eyes, wondering what would happen 20 years later. These rules are such a nuisance, he muttered. Let's wait and see. That day 20 years from now may never come. Currently, there was something else on Deus's mind. But why are those dragons so careless? Does that foolish dragon even know what's happening to her children? The foolish dragon you speak of, isn't that me? A disdainful voice, the golden dragon, sounded. At the same time, a pair of legs appeared, hovering above them. She still appeared as bold as ever with her long yellow dress swaying in the wind, her golden dragon hovering above and looking down at her Deus. He glanced at her, slightly surprised. My mouth really is accurate, Deus admitted. It's you. Deus looked up at the hovering figure, confirming, you've been watching me this whole time, haven't you? The elegant golden dragon crossed her legs and smiled gracefully behind her veil. I have attached a strand of my hair to your body. Deus understands what you mean by a piece of scale. Deus. Summon it, if you want to accuse me, I can be a witness for you. You, she asked the golden dragon. Laughing lightly at you. You make me laugh so that a demon king like you can testify. Hello, I am a demon king. I stopped a hero who intended to break the peace treaty by attacking the dragons, acted as if humans would believe them. She was puzzled by her attitude. Why do people think so badly of demons? The golden dragon questioned. If they weren't bad, then why do you destroy the world once every 100 years? Deus played along, feigning thoughtfulness. You're right, why do we keep destroying the world? Why don't they just stay peacefully in the demon realm? The golden dragon bristled at his feigned innocence. What a stupid question, and it's coming from a demon king. Deus continued to act clueless. Deus picked his nose and glanced at her. You shouldn't talk so much, you simpleton. You're standing here idly chatting with me while your descendants are being slaughtered. He shoved his hands in his coat pockets, leaning against the carriage. They call those children merchandise. This certainly isn't the first time. Why do you think they hunt dragons? To create equipment, of course. Your bodies are incredibly valuable. They even slaughter innocent dragons. Deus's words struck a chord with the golden dragon. The thought had always lingered in her heart. Was this a blatant disregard for the treaty? The golden dragon proposed. So, will you help me with something? Deus looked up. What is it? The golden dragon replied softly, revenge. Can you help me take revenge on the base species that are slaughtering my descendants? Deus looked at her, puzzled, silent for a moment as if considering. Then he countered, why should I help you? You can do it yourself. The golden dragon insisted. I can't. Deus didn't understand. She explained, if a dragon leaves its territory and enters the human world, humans have the right to kill it. It's like your centennial wars. It's the law of the world. She was helpless. No matter how many of my descendants die, as long as humanity exists in this world, I can do nothing. He angrily shouted, what kind of absurd rule is that? What idiot made it? As soon as he finished speaking, his bright golden eyes flashed a whispering sound from somewhere that made him startled. A person who has no strength speaks of an invisible force that presses down on him, and if he cannot stand firm, he will fall. The surrounding earth and rocks crumbled under the force. He quickly propped himself up with his hands. A liquid flowed from Deus's nose. He touched it, incredibly surprised. I'm bleeding. What kind of terrifying pressure was that? His red eyes, slightly bloodshot, were drawn to the golden dragon's words. That's the rule of the world. The golden dragon, sitting high above, spoke. The binding power of the plane where you and I exist strongly resists the immense gravitational force trying to pin us to the ground. First, you establish unreasonable rules, and when I speak out, you apply punishment. The golden dragon looked down in surprise. Deus stood up and shouted loudly at that bastard, "If you feel that your righteousness is superior, then do it yourself. Set the rules in your world and then live there. Why set the rules in ours and force us to obey them unconditionally?" The golden dragon was amused. "Wow, you endured that punishment with a mortal body. You seem a bit foolish, but you're a demon king after all." Deus gave a wry smile, threatening, "Watch your mouth, you simpleton." The golden dragon seemed to suddenly remember something. Why don't you want to be the demon king?" Deus was full of questions. The golden dragon was excited. "You know, I'm thrilled. You're the first person to refuse to be the demon king in the last 666 centuries. She laughed as if she had found a great joke. "I bet heaven will have a headache because of you defying the rules." Deus looked at her in confusion. "Why are you so happy?" She stopped laughing. He said, looking at her deeply, "Deep down, you've also wanted to abolish these rules for a long time, haven't you?" The golden dragon was suddenly confused and denied. "What are you saying, idiot? I'm just curious because you're the first person to dare to do this kind of thing, so be careful with heaven. Maybe you're still safe now, but within 20 years that day will come, they will want to eliminate you." Deus, "No need to say they want to eliminate me. Yes, do you think I am afraid of his petty tricks? If they hit me, I will welcome them at any time." The golden dragon returned to the main topic. "Anyway, where's my answer? Why don't you want to become the demon king?" The conversation went on, but Zeke still slept soundly on the carriage. She seemed to be pumped with excitement and asked why you wanted to break the cycle of 665 centuries by giving up being the demon king. "I'm curious what the motive was for that." Deus pondered slowly. "Why, it's nothing major." Slowly, he gave his answer, as if still considering a plausible excuse. I don't want to become the demon king because..." At that moment, Alex came out from the gate. Both of them stopped and looked towards him. Alex appeared, interrupting their conversation. "Let's go, master, I've cleaned up the mess." Alex then noticed the golden dragon above, surprised. "You've been with the golden divine dragon this whole time?" The golden dragon angrily retorted, "Why did you only come at this crucial moment? You were neither early nor late." Alex politely bowed. "How are you, esteemed divine dragon?" Deus interrupted, "Don't say any more, open the gate, let's go home quickly." Alex obeyed. "Yes, I understand." The golden dragon hurriedly called out to Deus, "Wait, tell me before you go, tell me your reason." Deus responded flippantly, "I'll be stoned if I continue arguing with you, let's talk another time." The golden dragon was confused. "What the hell are you talking about?" He lazily lay down on the hay-covered cart. Zeke was fast asleep beside him. "Let's go, hurry up." The golden dragon called out, "Hey, demon king." She still wanted to entrust him. "If you can't avenge me, at least expose them, let them know how many heroes were involved." Her eyes were icy cold. So many innocent children were brutally murdered. Even if it's the human world, if they continue like this, they will violate the treaty, and other organizations that hate humans will also deal with them. He held up 3 fingers towards her. "Triple the price." She didn't understand. "It's a reasonable price. Your case is quite difficult, so I have to charge triple the usual fee." The golden dragon exclaimed. "What?" She angrily scolded. "You're a cunning, wicked devil." Deus didn't look at her. "Yeah, because I'm a demon, you could choose not to hire me and just let those children live in fear of being kidnapped or whatever." The golden dragon reluctantly accepted the offer. "Fine, I'll pay triple the price. Is that all right?" Deus cheerfully replied. "Thank you, valued customer." The golden dragon pointed at Deus. "Take this." Her fingertip glowed, as if casting a spell. A sparkling light radiated around him. Deus looked down at his hands curiously. "What kind of aura is this?" The golden dragon explained. "It's a spell that can hide your demonic aura. Heroes and blood soldiers react to your demonic aura. Now you don't have to worry about that anymore." "This is great," Deus exclaimed happily for this reward. Deus ignored her, hugged the sleeping Zeke beside him, and ordered, "I understand. You can go now." Alex replied, "Yes, sir." The golden dragon was speechless, grinding his teeth as he watched them leave. That damn guy. The golden dragon stood in the vast green meadow, watching the disappearing magic gate. Only a small star remained. Above was a full, round moon. She wondered, "Am I doing the right thing? Time will tell." All three of them looked up at the scene before them. Zeke exclaimed, "Whoa, a building, or rather, a magnificent castle." A huge airship was parked on the roof of the castle. The sight was incredibly magnificent. Zeke was stunned and wondered, how can they afford to build something like this? Alex explained, because they're a hero family with a 60,000-year history. The place where we're standing is the Holishwarsha family. Deus suspiciously turned to Alex. He's a hero, but why does he look like that? Zeke felt ashamed. He closed his eyes and gave a meek smile. I'm sorry, sir, for looking like this, Alex advised. Don't say things like that in front of others. Deus asked, why? Alex explained. Zeke might rebel out of anger. Deus still didn't understand. Alex gave up. Forget it, I explained it before. Once a hero family becomes famous, many cities and nobles will want to become their sponsors. Sponsoring heroes is like indirectly fighting for world peace. Moreover, he added, those dragon hunts like last night are a significant source of economic supply. Everyone knows it, but no one dares to say it. It's a difficult thing to talk about, but they still consider it right. Deus curiously asked, why is that? Zeke looked listlessly at the two of them talking. He felt like he didn't exist. Alex profoundly explained, because humans are at war with dragon nobles. There's no other way. We have to help them. If humans fail, the next victims will be the dragons. He propped his chin up in agreement. It's true, dragon bodies are quite popular in the demon world, Alex continued, very popular, in fact. The magnificent Holishwarsha family castle stood before them. Deus gradually understood. So, this is something the dragons have to do, support humans. Alex replied, exactly. Are you suspecting that the Holishwarsha family and other families are illegally hunting dragons, even though it affects the treaty between humans and dragons? Deus suddenly turned to Zeke and asked, your family doesn't poach dragons, does it? Zeke awkwardly scratched his head and chuckled, well. You need to reach level G to get close to a dragon's nest. Deus added pointedly, that's right, isn't it? If someone like you can hunt dragons, then maybe a dog or a cat on the street could do it too. Zeke fainted from the shock. Alex anxiously called out to him, Zeke, Zeke. Alex supported the exhausted Zeke, thinking to himself, Zeke, control yourself. Zeke helplessly asked Deus, what should we do now, Master? Deus confidently crossed his arms. There's something we need to do here. He explained with great enthusiasm. It's like a secret operation. Deus excitedly named it, Operation Illegal Dragon Hunting Investigation. He excitedly set off. Let's go. Alex, still holding Zeke, hurriedly reminded him. Wait, Master, Alex hesitantly asked. Ria's fine, but wasn't our identity revealed because of the fight with the nobles yesterday? Should we disguise ourselves a little? Deus stopped, seemingly surprised by this. He looked at Alex, expecting a solution. They just changed their clothes. Deus didn't think this disguise was too simple. He'd actually stolen Alex's hat and cloak. The other two could only helplessly accept. Deus declared coolly, now we can go. The pitiful Alex, with his hair tied in two buns, stood there speechless, wondering if he should just go home.